Dealing with adversity through the use of a reset button. We all deal with adversity in competition. Anytime we perform, there's going to be things that don't work out according to plan. But I've heard Mayor Giuliani once say that if you prepare for 90% of the situations that could possibly happen, you will be prepared for the 10% of situations that you could have never planned for. So we got to have a plan to deal with adversity. Now, most of the time when we're in practice, we put ourselves in situations, the coach will put us in situations where we have to deal with technical adversity or strategy adversity, but rarely do coaches put us in adversity that we might deal with our mindset. Adverse situations, things going wrong, and what exactly are we going to tell ourselves? We might know the technique we're going to use if our opponent tries a certain strategy on us, but very frequently we don't have a plan for exactly what we're going to tell ourselves mentally. That's what we're going to do right now. So first things first, you have to identify a reset button. Have some kind of reset button, meaning something that you do that reminds yourself to let it go. Okay, we all have to sometimes just let it go. So you have to first come up with some kind of physical gesture, something that you're doing with your body. It's got to be a physical movement, whether it's a deep breath. You see a lot of athletes do that. That might be one of the best you could do. It could be a handshake. You shake your hands out. It could be a head shake. It could be a tapping your head. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. But pick one thing, and that's your reset button for the rest of the time. You stick with one reset button, and then we want to plan for any different adversity situations that could happen and what you're going to tell yourself. So let's just say for me, my reset button is a deep breath. That's my reset button. Okay, so now let's go through the adversity situations we might have. So referee makes a bad call. It happens in competition. It's okay, but it's not okay to not know what we're going to tell ourselves. So you want to have a short, either a word or a short phrase that you're going to tell yourself in that situation. So think about that. Referee makes a bad call. Really mentally put yourself in that situation. Reset button. Deep breath, and then you're going to tell yourself what? So have a plan. So if I'm going to tell myself, focus on the next move, or next move, keep it short, sweet, to the point. Or if I even tell myself, reset, that's fine too. So deep breath, and then you tell yourself whatever line you want to give yourself to remind yourself to let it go. Another situation that could happen, and there's many of these things. The crowd gets loud, or starts booing, or gets negative, right? That happens. Step one, reset button that reminds you to release, relax, and let go. And then what do you tell yourself in that moment? Again, either a word or a very short phrase. You don't want it to be something that's long and drawn out. Other situations that could happen. Your opponent does something really good. Or maybe you do something really bad. Maybe you make a really stupid move. What do you tell yourself? Another situation, you make a mistake. What do you tell yourself after you make a mistake? Have a plan for that. So step one is the reset button. Step two is the word or the short phrase. Other situations that happen. Maybe your opponent does something dirty. It could happen. And then think of any other situations. This is such a personalized or such a sport-specific lesson when you think about it, because depending on your sport, different adversity situations can happen. You want to really know what can happen in your sport and what you're going to tell yourself. So again, rather than just focusing on what move we're going to do or what strategy, think of an adversity situation. You know your reset button, and then what are you going to tell yourself after that? And it could be the same thing over and over. We had a wrestler, actually, who is an NCAA champion, and his coach came to us and said he struggles with different adversity situations in a match. He gets thrown off, he gets distracted, he has difficulty staying in that present moment. So we gave him this worksheet, and he had a plan. After every situation, his reset button was he would smile, and then he would tell himself, it's all right. Something very simple like that, and he wound up winning a national title. So you have to have a plan. That's the key. Go through the adversity situations and then have your reset button that you do every time. And then what word or short phrase, it could be a different one given the situation or something totally new. Have that planned out and you'll be much more successful. Then go through all of those adversity scenarios and circle the three that you feel like you struggle with the most. Because again, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to remember sometimes when you see 10 different situations. But if you really hone in on 2 or 3, keeping it simple, and mentally review those situations and really put yourself there. Really imagine that happens to you. See yourself doing the reset button, and then see yourself actually saying the word or the phrase that you're coming up with, and you'll deal with it much more successfully. It's worked before, it'll work again for you.